The Ugly Duckling. Mother Duck had found the perfect place on the farm to build her nest. It was cool and dry with plenty of grass, yet close enough to a stream when the time came to take her ducklings for a swim. The other ducks quacked and splashed about in the water as she sat waiting for her eggs to hatch. Then, at last, came the great day when the shells burst open one after the other. Chip, chip, peeped the tiny yellow ducklings as they waddled around. How wide the world is! Mother Duck fused round them proudly. She was so busy trying to keep all her ducklings together that at first she did not notice there was one egg bigger than any of the others still in the nest. "That's a turkey egg!" quacked an old duck when she saw it. "And turkeys never learn to swim, my dear. Not like our little ones. Nasty birds they are too. Take my advice and leave it alone." But Mother Duck said she would sit on the egg a little longer until he hatched. And instead of a pretty yellow duckling, out come a fat, ugly chick with horrible dark gray feathers. "Was this a turkey chick?" wondered Mother Duck, leading the way down to the stream. How glad she was to see the ugly little bird swimming along behind the others. "He's not a turkey," she thought, "just an ugly duckling." The ugly duckling soon began to grow, and as he grew, the uglier he became. The other ducklings wouldn't even talk to him. Then hens in the farmyard pecked at him whenever he came near. Worst of all was the turkey cock, who came at the ugly duckling making loud gobbling noises until it was red in the face. Even the little girl who fed the farmyard birds aimed kicks at him. Unhappy and frightened, he flew off, some smaller birds getting out of his way. "That's because I'm so ugly," he thought. The ugly duckling flew on until he came to a marsh where some wild ducks lived. "My," said one, "you're so ugly." The ugly duckling just fluffed up his feathers and fell asleep. Next day, the air was shattered by hunters shooting at the wild ducks. The ugly duckling thought he would die when one of the dogs found him. Then splash, the dog turned and went. "I'm so ugly," thought the ugly duckling. "Even the dog does not bite me." And he went on his way until he came to a hut where an old woman lived with her cat and hen. Nobody saw him creeping inside. The woman thought the ugly duckling was a lady duck to lay eggs for her. But as she grew fatter and uglier and no eggs came, she got angry. Then hen and cat hated him because he could swim. All summer long, an ugly duckling was all alone, eating whatever he could find. Then came the autumn when the leaves blew down from the trees and the clouds hung low in the sky. Then at sunset one day, the ugly duckling saw the most beautiful white birds flying across the lake. He watched them until they were out of the sight, wishing with all his heart that he could be with them. The winter snow reminded him of those beautiful white birds. The river froze, almost freezing the ugly duckling with it, until a kind man broke the ice and took him home. His children wanted to play, but the ugly duckling thought they would hurt him. They scared him so much that he splashed into a pail of milk and then into a barrel of oatmeal. The children laughed and laughed, but the mother was furious. The ugly duckling only just missed being hit by the fire tongues as he ran into the bitter winter weather. Now came the worst part of the ugly duckling's whole life. Often he felt he would die from hunger and cold, longing for some shelter. He could hardly believe it when the sun shone again and birds sang. Hearing the birds, the ugly duckling flapped his wings, surprised to find how big and strong they had become. The sun warmed his back as he flew, making him feel happier than he had been for a long, long time. And on flew the ugly duckling until he saw a garden, the scent of flowers wafting up towards him. Suddenly, 3 beautiful white swans flew out from the thicket, gliding into the water. These were the birds he had seen in the autumn with ones he loved, although he did not know why. What if they hurt me? He thought. Better to die here than to be beaten and punished because I'm so ugly. Slowly, the swans turned and came towards him, looking so solemn that the ugly duckling wagged his head. He saw his reflection in the water, not the reflection of an ugly duckling, but a beautiful white swan. The ugly duckling thought he was dreaming. Could he really be a beautiful swan? There is a new swan, isn't it? He's lovely. Sang some little children as they stood by the lake. The handsome young swan lifted his head, looking all around him. This cannot be a dream, he thought. I could never have dreamed of being so happy when I was the ugly duckling.